Operations Group. Welcome to today's ceremony. This afternoon, we pay special tribute to Chief Master Sergeant Troy J. Ballard on the occasion of his retirement after 26 years of dedicated service to his country and the United States Air Force. My name is Staff Sergeant Katie Callan, and I am your narrator for today's ceremony.
Post the colors. Present. bow your heads. Gracious Almighty, we thank you for allowing us to be here for this purpose of a retirement ceremony for the Chief Master Sergeant Ballard, for his hard work and years of service that he's given us here, for service as the primary advisor to the commander of enlisted of over 764 personnel. We just want to thank you for the opportunity, for allowing us to be here in this presence, and we just say thank you. For his opportunity to be here in the presence of a job of hard work done, of the opportunity to travel to so many places and touch so many airmen and to touch this Air Force and this community. We thank you for all the assignments and education as well as the awards that he's receiving, but more importantly, we want to thank you for his heart of giving when he didn't have the time he felt to give. So we just thank you for his family that may not have had the opportunity, but he knows in his heart of what he needs to do. And we just say thank you for the future as he goes back and he changes our community and our world. And for the people that are here, that are for the opportunity to be here in this presence, just say thank you. So we just say thank you for the opportunity for Chief Master Sergeant Ballard. We thank you in the name of Almighty. Amen.
Thank you, Chaplain Stewart. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. At this time, it is my pleasure to introduce our presiding officer, Colonel Ryan T. Marshall.
All right, well, it is a great day to be here as we recognize a great airman in Chief Ballard with a distinguished 26-plus year career. Can everybody hear me okay? I'm not a microphone guy. That'll help keep these comments short for y'all, which my wife's not here to encourage that and give me the old knock it off, but I got a few things to say about this guy right here and a few other topics. I'll try and throw in some jokes. Gyro, thanks for the encouragement before. Faster, funnier, got it. We'll try and make that happen. But distinguished visitors, my fellow group commanders, got a wing command chief here, thank you. Group superintendents, squadron commanders, chiefs, family, friends, thanks so much for coming out. I know we have a lot going on. There's a lot of mission happening right now all over the world, and it's just great to be here to celebrate an incredible occasion. I got to take just a second to point out, I love military ceremonies. Anybody with me? Or just me? Love them. You know why? They have three basic components in every military ceremony that we do, from a promotion all the way to a retirement, everything in between. Even a memorial service on a somber occasion have three basic parts. First one, anybody want to get audience participation? Faith, right? Chaplain Stewart, nailed it. Thank you. No matter who you are in this audience, you have faith in something, someone, right? Whether you're fellow airmen or in God above. But thank you for representing that today and bringing that to this ceremony. Second one, faith, family. Well done, right? All of us here together, family. Whether you're wearing the uniform or not, but we're here to celebrate this airman. We are his family. All right, faith, family. Service, honor guard. Are they still here? I know they have like 30 events today and tonight, and so they're on to the next one. Incredible job. Posting both our colors. How blessed are we to get to work in Germany, represent the United States, hearing the national anthem played. Does that just overwhelm anybody else, or is it just me? Awesome. You just can't hear it enough. Faith, family, service. That's why we're here. And well represented today with an incredible ceremony. Thanks to all those folks behind the scenes and up front, from proffering to narrating to make this happen. Truly a phenomenal effort. Troy, special thanks. I don't know how many folks were unable to do this, to preside, but for you to get to the bottom of the stack and let me have some kind of small part in a retirement ceremony, it will truly be one of the things that I remember that highlights in my career. It's my time to step aside so that others leave. But thank you. Tremendous honor and privilege to be here. Okay, so let's take it back just a little bit. I'm not a big bio guy, right? You've got that in the program. You're going to walk through that, you know, and for those of you who don't, you know most of his career. But I like to kind of set the stage with what was going on in April 1990. And I look out at a few kids in the audience, young airmen I should say, that may not even been born in April of 1990. That's a little bit scary, right? Insane. Just after the best decade of all time, the 80s, right? Amen, amen. Gotta be it. All right, so what was the best movie? What was the critically acclaimed Oscar-winning movie in 1990? Driving Miss Daisy, not one of my favorites. I don't think I ever saw it. All right, but there were some other good ones. Total Recall, Arnold Schwarzenegger was out there, top of the charts. Okay, good stuff. Let's see, what about music? Anybody want to guess what was the #1 song? Wind Beneath My Wings. Classic, right? Stood the test of time. Again, not one of my favorites. There were some new kids on the block kind of hitting the scene. A lot of people don't know, but Troy made final auditions. And I think that may have been what pushed him into the military. Possibly. It was him and Donnie Wahlberg came to a dance-off. It happens. Things could have been so different. Things could have been so different. But anyways, that was April and on to 1990. But politically, what was going on in the world? What was happening? End of the Cold War, right? Is it a coincidence that 4 months after Troy joins, the Cold War is over? I don't know. Most of it was in basic training, but it had an impact, some might argue. Not so sure. But most importantly, we get to be here in Germany to celebrate. East and West reunited, right? August of 1990. Incredible. Another event that shaped all of our careers. Saddam invades Kuwait, right? And we've been messing around in that region ever since. But those probably had some kind of impact on why you joined and how you've served and where you've gone on from there. Okay, speaking of the political climate of things, right? You don't usually bring up politics in a retirement ceremony. I know there's a lot going back on in the States right now, right? With a couple different political leaders. So anyways, I'll keep that short. But I had a buddy call me the other day. And he actually works for one of the political campaigns as a fact checker. And I said, man, you must be really busy right now. He said, yeah, and I'm getting paid very, very good. And I said, is it true you can just pretty much pull up any date and time or name or place and put it all together and see if there's a link together? And he said, oh, click of a button. And I said, pop in Troy Ballard. See what kicks out. What happens. I was a little nervous. I tell you, I was. Calls me back within 5 minutes and says, you're not going to believe this. There's a direct link between Troy Ballard and the University of Michigan athletics. Everybody knows he's a fanatic, right? So I said, okay, I'm a little surprised, but not all that surprised. But what's the link? He said, I can chart you his career, peaks and valleys, and it correlates directly to the athletic department and their successes, their peaks and valleys. University of Michigan Athletics. All right, case in point, 1997, then Staff Sergeant Ballard. Maintenance Professional of the Year. That's also the same year. Charles Woodson was the Heisman Trophy winner, right? You remember who he beat? Peyton Manning. I gotta believe her. Peyton Manning. And what was also special about him? Defensive player. Played a lot, special teams, all sort of, but quarterback was his position. I'm not a sports fanatic, so I'm pretending like I know what I'm talking about. I don't. But there's a correlation here. So I'm gonna pull this just a little bit further. Then what happens? His squadron goes on to be the PACAF MEA, Maintenance and Effectiveness Award winners for all of the command. And he's part of that team that makes that happen. And what happened that year of their football team, besides having the Heisman Trophy? They won the national championship. So it goes on and on. This is uncanny. 98, the following, PACAF Crew Chief of the Year. Their hockey team wins the national championship. No, this can't be. Could he be plotting his career? He's doing better when those athletic teams are doing better? No. Who does that? Who consciously would do that? I'm not so sure. All right, now there are some dark times. Like I said, peaks, a lot of those, mainly peaks, sure. But there was a couple years there, right? 2008 to 2010, worst record for their football team. Look, he knows where I'm going, right? Well, there was also a time at Travis Air Force Base. Well, they felt some dark years with their lowest QA inspection pass rate from 2008 to 2010. He was a QA inspector.
Bring the rain.
So, hey, I'm just the facts. I'm just throwing them out there. That's what he ran. That's what he went with. That's what happened. So, interesting. It makes you think. But I'll let you draw the conclusions. But anyways, in all seriousness, I want to speak a little more from the heart today on the guy that I've known now for this past year and had the pleasure and privilege of working with for a little while. They're too short, but a good time nonetheless. Some things that as I was reflecting back on our time together in this last year, and also, of course, your records and everything else, and every piece of paper that's been written on you outside of the legal shop, and reflecting, I kind of came up with three themes. And I know every retirement or sometimes promotion ceremonies you go to, and everybody talks about the Air Force core values. Love the Air Force core values. But this guy eats those for breakfast. That's just his core, that's his foundation. I would be not using this time wisely if I just spoke those, which are ultimately important. But well, some of us are working on that mastery level, right? Of integrity, service before self, and excellence in all we do. Nailed it. He's beyond that. He takes it to the PhD level, and that's what I love about Troy Ballard. So other things that I was thinking, three other words I got for you. Most of them. Incredible dedication to the job. He is a dedicated airman. Everything he does, if you know Troy Ballard, you know it's 100%. 100%. He gives no less than that. 9 different assignments. 1,152 days away from home, either TDY or deployed. 887 of those were deployed. So think about it. 2.5 years deployed in his career away from home. 3+ years gone out there doing the mission. 5 different continents. Multiple operations from Desert Shield, Desert Storm, on up to Oak and Steel that we're doing today. He has somehow had some kind of impact on the mission, on aircraft, parts pieces, or people, airmen out there doing the mission. And not just contingency operations, humanitarian operations, exercises, countless. I lost count after 50 different named operations, exercises, different things he got to be involved with. And he gave it his 100% always, with passion, with conviction. Dedicated airman, which leads me to the next. Credible. He's a credible airman. When you sit down and talk to him, you know it's coming from experience. He would never ask any of us in this room to do anything he's not willing to do himself or that he's already done. In the uniform, out of the uniform, in the local community, the German local national family and friends here today. It's so great to see you. But he gives it all, as you know, and you can attribute to. Credibility. 3 advanced academic degrees. I had to ask my office just this morning, what does cum laude mean and how do you say it? Did I get it right? With honors. 3 advanced academic degrees. He gives it all. He's still working on his master's degree now. He's going to finish it. All right. And I know he will. No doubt. 18 different specialties this guy's done. He's done everything on the flight line a maintainer can do. Knuckle dragging, maintainer. He's done it. From starting as that journeyman apprentice all the way to group superintendent ×2. Cum laude. I'm going to keep saying that a few more times. I'll get it. With honors. Always. Always. Dedicated airman. Incredible airman. And what do those add up? Dedication, credibility. Anybody? Any guesses? Influence. Right? Impact. He's influential airman. But I know that just like me, he's touched probably just about everybody in here with some way, shape, or form when when it comes to either maintaining, fixing jets on the flight line, or some bat shop somewhere, or wherever. When we went out on the road together, everywhere we went, airmen with the big A would flock to him. Like he was the fifth Beatle, long lost. I mean, and they would hang on his every word. We'd go to a social event, a lunch, or a dinner, or a graduation, or something, or just in there in our town halls. He would be there, people would just be hanging. Remember the old commercial, probably in the 90s, maybe even the 80s, E.F. Hutton? They talk, everybody listens. And it serves us well, because usually when you listen to him, you get things right and you learn something. He has that influence. He's an airman with impact that has made a difference in so many of our lives that are here today, and hundreds, if not thousands of airmen through 26 plus years of dedicated, credible service that leaves an impact, that had an influence on me. So Troy Ballard, from me to you, thank you so much for our limited time together, but it was an incredible time. You have made me a better officer, a better leader, a better commander, a better person, just having to work with you. And I look forward to what the future will bring. May God bless you and the United States Air Force. Thank you.
Thank you, Colonel Marshall. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the medal presentation.
Publish the order.
16 January 1969 has awarded the Meritorious Service Medal 3rd Oak Leaf Cluster to Chief Master Sergeant Troy J. Ballard for meritorious service 9 June 2014 to 30 November 2016. Chief Master Sergeant Troy J. Ballard distinguished himself in the performance of outstanding service to the United States as Group Superintendent, 86th Maintenance Group, 86th Airlift Wing, Ramstein Air Base, Germany. During this period, Chief Ballard served distinctively as the superintendent across two groups. In the 721st Air Mobility Operations Group, he was the architect behind the implementation of group daily operations meetings that oversaw 14,000 missions, some 62% of all Department of Defense strategic airlift efforts, which delivered 163,000 tons of cargo and 235,000 passengers. Moreover, he mentored leadership teams within the group to administer 23 award categories, securing recognition for his airmen in 65% of all submissions. In the maintenance group, Chief Ballard led his team through 42,000 maintenance actions on 16 C-130J aircraft, powering 3,900 tactical airlift sorties and 11,000 flight hours. His push for total quality, database decisions, and process-based operations resulted in a remarkable achievement of only 13 minor group-wide discrepancies during the Wing's 2016 Unit Effectiveness Inspection. Lastly, the Chief synergized the group's senior leader by aligning 3 strategic goals, 8 objectives, and 23 tasks to establish the Maintenance Development Council, an education and training program set to benefit hundreds of future airmen. The singularly distinctive accomplishments of Chief Ballard culminate a distinguished career in the service of his country and reflect great credit upon himself and the United States Air Force. Please remain standing for the retirement portion of today's ceremony.
Publish the order.
Special Order Number AC 008806, effective 30 November 2016. Certificate of Retirement from the Armed Forces of the United States of America. To all who shall see these presents, greeting. This is to certify that Chief Master Sergeant Troy J. Ballard, having served faithfully and honorably, is retired from the United States Air Force on the first day of December 2016. Signed, General Mark A. Welsh III, Chief of Staff, United States Air Force. Certificate of Appreciation for Service in the Armed Forces of the United States of America to Chief Ballard. Certificate of Appreciation for Service in the Armed Forces of the United States of America, Chief Master Sergeant Troy J. Ballard, I extend to you my personal thanks and the sincere appreciation of a grateful nation for your contribution of honorable service to our country. You have helped maintain the security of the nation during a critical time in its history with a devotion to duty and a spirit of sacrifice in keeping with the proud traditions of military service. Your commitment and dedication have been an inspiration for those who will follow in your footsteps, and all for Americans who will join me today in saluting you for a job extremely well done. My best wishes to you for happiness and success in the future. Signed, President Barack Obama, Commander-in-Chief. Thank you, Colonel Marshall. It is a tradition that every retiree receives a special retirement pin as a memento of their active duty service. Chief Master Sergeant Ballard has requested Colonel Filchek present this pin. Colonel Filchek, please come forward. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, Lieutenant Colonel Hood will present Chief Ballard with his shadow box. This shadow box serves not only as a reminder of achievements and accomplishments, but also as a representation of the 26 years you gave in defense of our nation. It is a shadow of yourself and of your career. The case is made of hardwood, and it represents the solid leadership you have provided for many airmen over the years. The glass covering the top of the box reminds us of the unique way a senior non-commissioned officer sees through problems and finds solutions. The blue background represents the many airmen, NCOs, and officers that you have mentored throughout your Air Force career. The rank stands for diligence, hard work, and the strongest commitment to principles. And the decorations tell us of the achievements you have made in the defense of our country. The flags represent freedom and the countries that you were stationed in and have protected for the last 26 years. Chief, this is the flag that you so proudly served and so honorably defended. Accept it, protect it, guard it, and ever remember that the young men and women you have trained, guided, and inspired will follow in your footsteps and defend it with equal pride. On this occasion, we lose a true leader while society has gained a fine citizen. Chief Ballard, good luck and Godspeed. Thank you, Lieutenant Colonel Hood. A true leader has the confidence to stand alone, the courage to make tough decisions, and the compassion to listen to others. Chief Ballard did not set out to be a leader, but became one by the quality of his actions and the integrity of his intent. Ladies and gentlemen, the United States Air Force is proud to present our guest of honor and our newest retiree, Chief Master Sergeant Troy J. Ballard, retired,
United States Air Force.
So thank you, Katie. Where's she at? She's awesome, right? Isn't she awesome? So 4 buddies were commissioned into all 4 branches of the service, where they made their long and distinguished careers. Although they maintained their friendship through the decades, they argued long, bitterly, and inconclusively as to which service was the best. And so the years wore on, and the 4 were called to their heavenly rest, where, naturally, they continued their futile disputes. And one day they encountered St. Peter, who asked what all the hubbub was about. And the 4 officers explained their argument and appealed to St. Peter to once and for all tell them which of the 4 branches was the best. So St. Peter reflected and noted that the question had never come up before. And not wanting to speak on behalf of the Almighty, he agreed to ask God for the definitive word. A bit of time passed, and the officers again ran into St. Peter and eagerly asked him if he had received a reply from the Lord. And just then a snow-white dove, carrying a note in its beak, landed on St. Peter's shoulder. And St. Peter took the note, carefully unrolled it, and read it out loud to the 4 officers. Gentlemen, your squabbling and arguing are unbecoming and pointless. All 4 of your branches are equally brave, noble, and honorable. You all served your nation with devotion and courage. Take pride in that service and forget about your petty rivalries. Sincerely, God. Chief Master Sergeant, United States Air Force, retired. Colonel Marshall, sir, thank you, dearly. Your remarks are awesome and will resonate in my memory for years to come. Thank you as well for officiating. It has been an honor to serve you and with you. Colonel Donahue, Colonel Filchek, Colonel Jewell, Colonel Johnson, gentlemen, thank you for coming. Chief Redden, thank you as well. First Sergeants Nissen and Ben Cameron, Phil Nissen, sorry, back there on the camera, steady as he is. You guys rock. Thank you so much for taking all of this on. Your leadership and patience has been phenomenal. And as for your team, our MC, Staff Sergeant Katie Callan, taking on protocol in the flag case was Tech Sergeant Rodriguez, Raul. Our proffer is Staff Sergeant Caleb Simpson, and taking lead on this remarkable shadow box is Staff Sergeant Day. Our escorts and ushers are Staff Sergeant Cortez, Staff Sergeant Dickey, Staff Sergeant Green, Airman Eddington, Airman Bautista, and Airman Thural. And as always, our marvelous honor guard. Let's give them all a round of applause. And to my fellow chiefs, as always, I appreciate your personal support and dedication to the mission of our airmen, of course. Thank you for being here this afternoon. Und für meinen deutschen Freunde, ein einfaches Danke ist einfach nicht genug. Und meine Dankbarkeit für Ihre Güte und Freundschaft verständlich zu erfassen oder auszudrücken. Sie haben so viel gegeben und nichts gebeten. Und es werde immer für die tiefe Liebenswürdigkeit dankbar sein. Hans, mein Freund, wir tun, was wir können. Und ich werde dich besonders von ganzem Herzen vermissen. And finally, to the 86 Maintenance Group and Team Ramstein, your execution of the daily maintenance grind and overall mission are absolutely superb. You humble me every day, and today is no exception. Thank you all for coming. So there I was, over 2.5 decades ago, aimless, without goals and without aspirations, working for minimum wage at a local convenience store. I had little in the way of role models and was going the proverbial nowhere fast. And on a cold winter afternoon, I asked myself, Troy, what the hell are you doing? And the next day I asked my mother the same question, to which she responded, have you ever thought of the Air Force? And I thought, no, I haven't. No, I haven't. 6 weeks later, I took the oath of enlistment and entered the delayed enlistment program in February of 1990. 2 months later, a long-haired, pimple-faced, 156-pound, 6'2" punk from Battle Creek, Michigan, found himself at the center of Staff Sergeant Thomas Schwenk's undivided attention, being chastised for whatever offense a young recruit makes. I didn't like that. So I adapted, mastered a few skills, and was elevated to one of 4 element leader positions. It was at that moment that I knew that I had made the right decision as blue began to course through my veins. Leadership was a drug, and young Airman Ballard was addicted. Fast forward the Ballard movie, and you'd see service in 28 countries on 5 continents, working for 22 supervisors in 13 squadrons and groups, with well over 100 shirts, chiefs, and commanders at the controls. So yes, I have served. But what does that mean? When you get down to the brass tacks, what is the meaning of service? And though I knew that I was a lifer early on, the notion of service did not become abundantly and crystal clear until years later. It took hundreds of refuels, 10-hour, 14-day inspections on H-60s, thousands of discrepancies cleared on Hercs, hundreds, countless actually, C-17 tires changed in the desert, tens, if not 20s, of past QA evaluation, hundreds of established and broken E-techs, thousands of reviewed forms, and tens of thousands of launches. Indeed, all of those actions were tantamount to service and the projection of air power for America. But for me, the gift of understanding true service came just a few years ago through an incredibly powerful example. Kyle Hockenberry. Were you to Google Kyle, you'd likely see a picture of him taking from the right side of his torso, lying on his back, with a medic perched over him, watching him, caring for him, treating him on a dust-off helicopter. Along the side of his torso, in big, bold letters, is the phrase, "For those I love, I will sacrifice. For those I love, I will sacrifice." Kyle was a member of the National Honor Society. He loved motorcycles. And as you might expect, he loved high school parties. But he'd always wanted to be a soldier. So in October of 2010, the young, vibrant native of Marietta, Ohio, enlisted, and after basic training was assigned to the 4th Squadron, 4th Cavalry Regiment, 1st Heavy Brigade Combat Team, where, in January of 2011, he was deployed to Afghanistan. But before he left, Hockenberry and some friends found a tattoo parlor in a small Kansas town, and he picked his ink. I had always wanted a tattoo for a long time and wanted to finally get one before we left, Kyle said. He went on to say that, I thought, since I was in the military, that this one would be a good one to get. Those I love is for everyone, for my parents, for my brother, and all my family. But it is really for everyone in the country. On June 15th, Private First Class Hockenberry was on a patrol near Haji Ramudan, and through the course of a firefight, he stepped on the pressure plate of an IED. I always wanted to serve my country, protect our freedom, to keep the life that all the ones I love live safe, he said. That day, Kyle lost both of his legs and his left arm. For those I love, I will sacrifice. That sentiment alone captures the very essence of service, the why we serve, the why we execute the mission in the most instrumental, decisive, and incredible air power machine the planet has ever seen. We serve for Kyle. We serve for Kyle. We service, we fix, we launch, inspect, evaluate, administer, analyze, coordinate, and lead aircraft maintenance operations for Kyle and the other 1,479,393 service members who were wounded on the battlefield since we became a nation. We serve for Petty Officer Second Class Andrew J. Clement, Air Force Major Adriana Verbogen, and the 1,197,194 Americans who have paid the ultimate and final price of what Lincoln called the last full measure of devotion. That, my fellow airmen and friends, is why we serve, and that we never, ever forget their sacrifice to preserve and protect our world from the scourge of humanity. That their families who weep and post flags at cemeteries around the world can know with absolute certainty that their service to freedom is sacred and eternal. And that there is hope for a world without anguish or the necessity for a military to fight tyranny. But until such time exists, there is you and the service you project in silent humility to this group, to this wing, to this Air Force, and ultimately to America. Though you may be silent and humble, your message to service is loud and clear. Jefferson said, all tyranny needs is to gain a foothold. To gain a foothold is for people of good conscience to remain silent. Moving forward, I trust, have faith, and thank you dearly for your collective service and the sacrifices that you make as airmen and as families. I will not remain silent. I will advocate for you in public, in private, at meetings and boardrooms, on the shop floor, in pubs and restaurants, and in conversations wherever and whenever appropriate. So in my last moments of service, I stand before you an irrefutably proud airman. Proud of your devotion. Proud of the friendship we have with Germany. It has been my lifelong honor to serve with you and for you in our just and noble cause, and extend all the best to you and yours. May God bless you, the United States Air Force and the United States of America. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chief Ballard. Ladies and gentlemen, the men and women of the United States Air Force are proud to have served with Chief Ballard. He will always be a valuable member of the Air Force family, even in retirement. We wish him and his family every success in their future endeavors. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the singing of the Air Force song and the departure of the official party.